God is watching over us. There is a need in which, clearly God sees a need in which we are to be put in the furnace for a time, but He will not keep us in there too long. He will pull us out at the right time.
This is a Truth Transforms Truth Nugget, a daily dose of truth for your daily transformation.
In the 1800s, there was a group of women. They met to study the Bible in Dublin. They were puzzled by the words of Malachi 3:3. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. They were talking about this while they were in that study. And one of the ladies agreed. She said, I'm going to go find a silversmith, and I'm going to talk to that silversmith, and I'm going to find out about the process. I'm going to find out about this purification, this refining process of silver. And so she did, and she went and she talked to a silversmith, and she asked him, would you tell me about the refining process? And he said, I'd be happy to. She didn't tell him why she was asking. And so he shared everything that went into the process, very detailed. She was very interested. Wow, that's fascinating. And then she said, let me ask you something. Do you sit down during that process? And he said, yeah, actually. I have to sit down the whole time. He said, you see, I take the silver and I put it in the furnace, and I sit down right next to it, and I keep my eyes focused on it, and I watch over it the whole time, and I don't move. Because what happens is I stick that silver in the furnace. If I take it out just a tad bit early, it's going to be damaged. It's going to be ruined. And so she saw the beauty of that statement, that he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. God is watching over us. There is a need in which, clearly God sees a need in which we are to be put in the furnace for a time, but He will not keep us in there too long. He will pull us out at the right time. The testings and the trials of this life don't happen forever, but they seem to always come. There will be seasons when they're here and seasons when they're gone. Well, God will pull us out of the furnace at the right time. He will not give us more than we can handle. The lady thought this was amazing, and she said, well, thank you very much for sharing that with me, and she was on her way. And he said, no, wait a minute. I got to tell you something else. You come back. I got to show you something, in fact. And so he took the silver and he had it in the furnace, and he's showing her. He said, you want to know how I know when it's done? You want to know how I know when the purification process is done? Look at this. When I pull this out of the furnace, I take a look at it, and I know if it's done or not. And when I look at it and I see my own reflection, that's when I know the purification process is complete. When Christ looks at our life and looks into our heart and looks at everything in our life and sees His reflection, that is when He knows that the purification process is complete. And so this is a purification process throughout all of life. We need to have our goal and keep our perspective that we are to be conformed to the image of Christ. God wants us to have a faith that works. A faith that works in trials.